Welcome back, Sebastian here. So as I speak in F1 testing, they're welding a drain cover back on the track. So why not do a preview for this year's Formula 2 season? So first we'll go over all the drivers competing this year, then we'll look at the calendar, and we'll finish up with some predictions for the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship. So starting with the drivers, for ART we have Victor Martins and Zach O'Sullivan. For Martins, 22 years of age. This is his second year in Formula 2, and last year he finished 5th. So did quite well for himself as a rookie, and he'll be one of the favorites for this year's title. Then we have Zach O'Sullivan, 19 years of age. He's a rookie this year, first year in F2, and last year he finished second in Formula 3. Driving for Prema, two drivers who I think will also be fighting for that title. Oliver Bearman, 18 years of age, second year in F2. Last year he finished 6th, so right behind Martins. And then we have the guy that everyone's been talking about, and he's even been linked with an F1 seat before he's turned a wheel in Formula 2, which is honestly crazy. And it's Andrea Kimi Antonelli, 17 years of age, first in F2, and last year he won FRECA, which is the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Moving on to Rodin, we have Zane Maloney, an interesting driver, 20 years of age, second year of F2. Last year he finished 10th. He was a member of the Red Bull Driver Academy, but he was dropped at the end of last year despite finishing ahead of some drivers who stayed on, and he is actually picked up by Sauber, so still affiliated with an academy. Then we have Ritomo Miyata, 24 years of age, again another rookie, and last year he won Super Formula and Super GT, so coming over from Japan, a bit of an interesting prospect there. He'll definitely be one to watch out for. Of course, he doesn't really have any experience on these European circuits, and I don't think he has any experience on Pirelli tires either. So those are two things that are going to be massive hurdles for him to have to deal with. Moving on to dams, we have Jack Crawford and Juan Manuel Correa. For Crawford, 18 years of age, second year in F2. Last year he finished 13th, which was a bit disappointing. I think he would have been hoping for a top 10 finish, but yeah, not there last year. And then for Correa, 24 years of age, third year in F2. Of course, he last year was his first year of his comeback after his injury from Spa 2019, and a bit of a down year, 19th in the championship, and he'll be looking to bounce back and maybe even shoot for a top 10 finish in the Drivers' Championship. Then we have Invicta, Chris Miney, and Gabriel Bortoleto. For Miney, 23 years of age, second year in F2. Last year he finished 11th. I think was one of the surprise packages early in the season. His pace dropped a little bit towards the second half of the season, but still pretty interesting driver. Then we have Bortoleto, 19 years of age, first year in F2. Last year he won Formula 3 as a rookie, which is definitely quite a tall task, a very difficult thing to do in Formula 3, and he wasn't in a Prema either. So he kind of came out of nowhere to win that title too. He finished 6th in FRECA the year before, so promotion F2 this year, so I'll be interested to see what he can do. Moving over to MP, we have Dennis Hauger and Franco Colapinto. For Hauger, 20 years of age, third year in F2 this year, and he finished 8th last year. For Colapinto, 20 years of age as well, rookie in F2 this year, and he finished 4th in Formula 3. Then moving on to Van Amersfoort, the other Dutch team. We have Enzo Fittipaldi and Rafael Villagomez. Fittipaldi, 22 years of age. This is his third year of F2. He finished 7th last year, so again, I think a bit disappointing given that his first year he finished in the top 10 as well, so probably a bit disappointed to not finish in the top 5 last year, so he'll definitely be hoping for that this year. For Villagomez, 22 years of age, a rookie, he finished 25th. I kid you not, 25th in Formula 3. We know why he's getting promoted to F2. It starts with M, ends with a Y. I don't think anyone needs a hint, but if you need one, it rhymes with honey. So, for High Tech, Murray Cordial, 21 years of age, third year in F2. Again, another driver who kind of bought his way into the series. 20th last year in F2, not really particularly great. For Paul Aaron, 20 years of age, first year in the series. Last year he came third in F3, so a bit of an exciting prospect coming through. Moving on to Campos, we have Isaac Hadjar, 19 years of age, had a really big pedigree coming in last year off of the back of his F3 campaign. But I think had a pretty disappointing year, 14th in the championship, and behind his teammate, who I believe was Crawford. For Pepe Marti, 18 years of age, this is his rookie season in F2, and he finished 5th in F3 last year. Last two teams, so Trident, we have Richard Bashir, 23 years of age, 4th year in F2, most experienced guy in the field, and he finished 9th last year. But a bit of a step down driving for Trident. Trident are quite good in Formula 3, but one of the weaker teams in F2, so I don't really expect him to finish in the top 10 this year. He'll be joined by Roman Stanek, staying with the same team again, 19 years of age, 2nd year in F2, and he finished 18th last year, which I don't think is really representative of his talent, given, like I said, he's driving for Trident. Then finishing up with PHM AIX, their two drivers, Joshua Durskin, 20 years of age, rookie, and last year he finished 19th in FRECA, which, like Villagomez, is, you're really questioning why he even went this far up. He basically skipped a whole tier of F3 just to go to this level. So remember, you have F1, of course, then F2, then F3, and then FRECA. So we basically skipped F3 all the way to F2. Finished 19th in the series, so miles behind Antonelli. I don't think he'll have a particularly strong year. I don't think he'll be quite Lord Mojave Vagunathan levels, but will be about that level, I would say. Taylor Barnard, 19 years of age, last driver confirmed, first year in F2, and he finished 10th in F3 last year, but don't let that fool you. He was driving a Genza, which is one of the worst cars in F3. Yuki Tsunoda did the same, drove a Genza in F3 for 1 year, I believe finished 9th or 10th, then it came to F2, and we saw what happened. And so those are the drivers for the calendar. So of course they are the support series for F1, and all of these are the same as the F1 weekend, of course. So the races that they'll be attending, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Australia, Imola, Monaco, Spain, Austria, Britain, Hungary, Belgium, Italy, Azerbaijan, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. Unfortunately, another month and a half, 2 month break between Azerbaijan and Qatar, and then 2 races at the end in basically December, which is, I think, unfortunate. I would prefer if F2 was finished in September. I think it's better for the driver market, and it's easier for the drivers in F2 to get promoted to F1 if their season ends earlier. But unfortunately, Middle East money talks. So like I said, predictions to finish off this video. I think I'll go starting from 10th and make my way up. I think, let's see, starting in 10th, I'll have O'Sullivan, pretty strong driver and a pretty good team. I think he should have a decent season. I think there's a lot of guys who could be in this top 10, but I'm going with O'Sullivan, pretty good track record in F3. Next we have, I'm gonna go with Jack Crawford. Of course, finished 13th last year. Second season in the series, should have a good step up in performance. Did very well in sprint races last year, so probably hoping for a bit better performance in the future races and in qualifying. Next, I'm going to go with Bortoleto. I think it's a bit odd that you would have your rookie F3 champion so low, but at the same time, I think for Bortoleto, I think it's going to be a big learning curve, and I think he kind of came out of nowhere last year, and I think you will, let's see, I do believe he is the highest driver who was in the F3 last year. I think many people don't really rank last year's F3 field that highly, so for those reasons, I'm kind of putting Bortoleto in 8th. Let's see, who do we have? Okay, then next, I'm going to go with Enzo Fittipaldi. Slight improvement, I believe. Actually, no, same position as last year. The reality is, from your second and third year, you don't really have as much improvement as between your first and second. And with brand new cars coming in, I think it really resets things for everyone. And I think it generally favors the more talented drivers, and probably is a bit of a disadvantage for those who have a bit more experience. Let's see, next I have Isaac Hadjar. So I have Isaac Hadjar, predicting that he'll make a big jump up from last year. I think last year it was just kind of overall, I think performance was lacking a bit in qualifying. The radio outbursts, I think, need to kind of get toned down a bit as well. And I do think that hopefully for him, he's clearly has a lot of talent. Did very well in Formula 3. Last year didn't really go so well, but hopefully he can have a really good second year. Obviously, Helmut Marko really likes him as well. Number 5. I'm going to go with Zane Maloney, finished 10th as a rookie. I expect a solid step up in performance. Had a really strong start to the year, but then performance kind of fell off a bit towards the end. But still, I'm expecting a solid boost in his second year. Number 4, I'm going to go with Isaac Hauger. Not Isaac Hauger. Dennis Hauger. Where did my brain go? Okay, anyway, Dennis Hauger. Last year he finished, Finished 8th. I thought he was very unlucky last year. Should have gotten quite a few more points, and I think should have finished higher up the championship. I think, quite a talented guy, and hopefully this year, his third year, he can finally break into that top 4. Then that leaves the top 3, and for number 3, I'm going to go with Oliver Bearman. Yeah, just make sure I get the name right this time. Yeah, Oliver Bearman. Pretty quick driver, very fast in qualifying, but a bit inconsistent. He was excellent at some tracks like Baku, where he won the sprint race, won the feature race, but other tracks he was a bit more anonymous. So that's something that he's definitely going to want to work on, being a bit more consistent through the season. Now, number 2, I'm going to go with Victor Martins. So for Martins, the first third of the season last year, a lot of crashes, a lot of incidents, a lot of points left on the table, but through that second half of the season was one of the best drivers, if not the best driver in the championship. So for Martins, I think he really just has to try to be like Bearman, try to be a bit more consistent. Was very, very fast in qualifying last year. So usually qualifying pace is something that doesn't just fall away overnight. So he should be very strong in that regard as well. So for Martins, if he wants to have any chance of getting the Alpine F1 seat next year, he's really going to have to try to be as consistent as possible and perform and grab those points every single race weekend. Now, you can probably figure out by now who number 1 is, given who I haven't written his name on the board yet. But I'm going to go follow the hype, get on the hype train, and I'm going to predict Kimi Andrea Antonelli will win the F2 championship this year. Extremely talented guy, won Italian F4 first time, won Formula Regional Middle East first time, won FRECA first time. He hasn't lost a championship like that he's competed in full time in his single-seater career. So obviously a very, very talented guy. And I think he's coming in at the perfect time, of course, with the new cars. So that means it kind of resets the playing field slightly. I think if we didn't have the new cars, I don't think I would have predicted him to win the title. But I do think it's a perfect storm for him. And I do think with that win, he will get a seat in F1 next year. I'm not sure which team he'll be with yet. Maybe Williams, maybe Mercedes. I would say at this point probably the Williams seat, but if Mercedes have a bad year and they're a less attractive option to other drivers, he might be in that seat starting in 2025. So that's all for my preview for the 2024 Formula 2 season. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.